I'm considering a lean implementation in my business, then when should I expect results?
That's a tough question. That Cotter talks about needing those early wins. Certainly, if you're a business leader and you're investing in something, you want to know you're not throwing money up against the wall. So to that, I always remind people that lean is a journey, not a destination. It's an attitude with the toolbox, not the magic bullet answer. If you need magic bullet answers, we can send you to McKinsey or Bain or one of the consulting houses and they can fill your boots. But when I say what's the first immediate result, well, the first immediate result is you'll suddenly learn about your business. And with that, you may unlearn a bunch of things about yourself and your business as well. Those things everybody say is obvious and everybody knows may not be obvious and may not even be true. And certainly not everyone will know them. And I caution people that unlearning takes time. And that leadership trap of being the technical expert is one of the hardest things for business leaders, or even consultants, to unlearn. And lean, it's necessary for you to get those early wins to very quickly unlearn a bunch of behaviours that you've been shown in your business. So I'd say, rather than results, what will I see as immediate value in implementing lean might be a good way of answering the question. And one of the first techniques that I do, and I'm a bit weird in a lot of ways, and a bit weird with this one, is a very old-fashioned technique of writing a fortnightly report to yourself on one page. And in this fortnightly report, you list in one column the things that I've delivered, and on the second column, the things I plan to deliver in the next fortnight. And at the bottom, I'll write down any risks or critical issues. And I find, when you do that as a business leader, writing that fortnightly report for yourself, not for the board, not for the team, not for your boss if you have one, but just for yourself, it helps you understand where your time's being chewed up. And you use action verbs. So you hold yourself to account and say, reviewing a document isn't an outcome. Delivering the document to the board is an outcome. Delivering the first draft to the board is an outcome. So you try and avoid, or you do avoid, those weasel words like try and review and consult. You turn them into action verbs: deliver or change X to Y. Your first few fortnightly reports will be awful because it will look like you've done nothing and you plan to do nothing, but you get yourself into that habit very early, and that 5% value add can very quickly change to 6, 7, 8, 10% value add in your own behaviour very quickly. The second immediate value is you ask the 5 whys, like our children do when they're younger. What went wrong? Well, the pallet fell off the truck. Well, why did it fall off the truck? Because the slidey panels were open. Well, why were the slidey panels open? Because the railing came undone. Why did the railing come undone? We saw it in our pre-start inspection, but it wasn't one that would stop us driving the truck today. Well, why was it not mentioned in the go, no go for my truck? Well, it should be. Well, let's put it there. There's the root cause. And the last of the 3 would be removing the monkey on your back, which is a very 1970s idea, but that's about upwards delegation, where your team assign you tasks. And it's quite common in the business to have your team assign you tasks. They can do it subtly or unsubtly. But when your team bring a problem to you, which is one of the manifestations of them trying to assign you a task, you ask 3 questions, which is, what's the problem? And the team member will answer that. You may need to ask that question a few times to get to the what is the actual problem. The next question would be, why is that a problem? And your team will give you an answer, and you may need to probe a bit to draw out of them why they think that's a problem. Then the next one is a pivotal question. What do you think we should do about it? and you go through a few iterations of firming up what they feel we should do about it, and then you say, I agree, how about you go do that then, and I'll check in with you later on today.
Yeah, really allowing people to be creative in their thinking and take control of the process. They're on the ground doing the work, so they've got the best idea of what's actually going on, and allowing them to come up with the ideas, and rather than you just going, oh, I see that, and then that's all that they can see.
So yeah, I agree that you're calling out being the technical expert risk really clearly and cleverly there. So the more brutal view is that I pay you 80,000, 60,000, 100,000, 200,000 to solve these problems for me. I won't swear, I'll just say ping off and go solve that problem. So you're giving the team the authority to solve the problems, and you're giving them authorization to fail.
Yeah.
Those three things would probably be how I would describe to a business leader, three things that would deliver value in the immediate. Fortnightly reports with action verbs to claw back your own time. The 5 whys to, rather than being the technical expert, reflect back to the team members. You are curious about what it is that the real root cause is, rather than polishing the symptom.
Mm-hmm.
And helping the team be successful by not being a crutch, and that upwards delegation, or the monkey on your back, that stops today. Today is the day that luckily you get a good salary for answering questions. This is one that I will help you with, but you get to solve it, mate, not me.
Yeah, and people do so much better when you are no longer available as their crutch. I think I see people thrive and they love it, and they feel so much better because you give them the power, and that's what we need. And we need control, over what we're doing, don't we? So it's so crucial.
Yeah, the bad news is it's very easy to say, and each one of those is really hard for a lot of alpha personality, male and female leaders, to resolve. I need to pry the iPhone from their cold, dead hands to stop them reading email. Email is a very low risk way of monkeys being generated by your team. Forcing a team leader to write themselves a fortnightly report and then being honest. You need to be their conscience and say, well, I'll pretend that I'm your conscience now. Tell me what you meant by X in your fortnightly report. Is that an actual action?
Yeah.
And the 5 whys. What is the real root cause, rather than what is one of the many symptoms that are much easier to address. And addressing the real root cause will reduce the number of rules and instructions in your business. Addressing the symptom will add to your rules and your standardized work procedures rather than reduce them. So, that common language builds a common culture. And one of the questions I ask us to stare into our soul and say, in your business, is it actually okay to fail? And everyone nods just like you did then and says, yes, it is. And then I say, no, really? Yeah. Is it okay to fail? And then they say, yes, it is. And then I say, well, I'll ask a few questions to see if that's believable. And this is where those symbol systems and the behaviours that are driven by those symbols and systems come up. When was the last person who got rewarded for failing in your business? When was the last time that we went out into the workplace, saw something that wasn't right, and had the team address it, and then lavished praise on them for showing the tenacity to get the job done? Almost all of the time, it is not the team member's fault for the work site being messy. And I use the pointing finger, where I point a finger at you. How many fingers are pointing back at me? I say that's the share of the blame, that if I ever point the finger at you for saying that you have an untidy workplace, well, you can own 25% and I'll need to own 75%. So, those things allow you to have the beginning of understanding your business and the role of the supporting functions of your business. And I reflect that many leaders find it very easy to go out into the workplace, the gemba, the visible part of it at least, and they seem oblivious or uncaring about, I'll call it the virtual gemba, virtual workplace. Who does your accounts payable, who does your payroll. Those are absolutely essential parts of your business being successful and can be overrepresented in the cause of waste. So that virtual gemba, the virtual workplace, can be as important and sometimes even more important than the real workplace, where the obvious, as most people call it, work gets done. So don't forget your IT nerds, your accounts payable, your payroll. They can be very effective in the short term in driving a better culture, paying people on time, paying your suppliers on time, being paid on time. That is a source of a lot of waste in people's businesses.